stands and smiles. My beloved people, my cherished wanderers of sand and storm, look at us now. Look around you. Once we were excuse me. Once we were little more than scattered souls beneath merciless skies, exiles, survivors, drifters, cast into the jaws of cruelty and expected to perish, nameless beneath. Sorry,
Brent?
stop nameless beneath the heart of the exiled lands. We carried no kingdom upon our backs, no walls protected us, no banners flew proudly above us, only each other. And perhaps, that is why we endured. The sands stripped away lies, they stripped weakness. Honey, please don't. I'm doing my thing. They stripped weakness, they stripped pride from fools and mercy from tyrants. Yet, somehow, they did not strip our joy. No. In the harshest nights, we danced beside the fires. We loved deeply. We loved fiercely. We created beauty where there should have only been ruin. That is why we stand here today, not as exiles, not as refugees, but as something reborn upon the shores of the Isle of Sitta. Tonight, beneath the eyes of gods and sea and moon, we cast aside the old name. The naked sands served us once. It carried us through hardship, through blood, through wandering years. But names are like overgrowth from something old. Sometimes they must be pruned for something greater may emerge. From this night onward, we are Dorchetta's orchard, not a place of shame, but abundance. Not merely survival, but indulgence. Not fear, but freedom. An orchard does not bloom from domination. It blooms from care, from patience, from passion, from hands willing to nurture beauty, even when storms threaten to tear it apart. That is who we are. In this place, this sanctuary we rise upon Sipta shall be known as Althea's respite, a refuge of weary travelers, a haven of artists, a sanctuary for lovers, a table where strangers may become family. Here, no chain shall bind the innocent. No tyrant shall claim ownership of another soul. No creed shall crush the freedom of the heart. We are non hostile people. Remember those words. We do not hunger for conquest. We do not sharpen blades for needless slaughter. We do not seek war for pride or vanity. But make no mistake, if violence is brought to our gates, if our people are threatened, if our peace is mistaken for weakness, then the orchard's thorns will draw blood, and those who come seeking to harm us shall learn that paradise can bite. I do not build this alone. No lady worthy of a crown ever does. There are those beside me whose hands shaped this dream long before the ceremonies began. She looks over at Castell. Castell, my beloved voice of sacred nectar. You all know him well enough by now. Some, perhaps, Too well. When spirits run dry, somehow Castell appears with goblets full once more. When tempers rise, his words cool them. When silence threatens a gathering, his laughter breaks apart the sunlight through a storm clouds. He carries the sacred nectar of Torqueto, not only in drink, but in spirit. Desire, celebration, connection. Some rulers build kingdom with fear. Castell reminds us kingdoms survive through joy. And if any among you have not yet tasted his nectar, she smirks. I assure you, it is an experience worth surrendering to. Then she looks over at Rosella. Then there is Rosella, my radiant rose in bloom, priestess in training, keeper of elegance, student of sacred beauty. Many think faith is forged only in prayer or sacrifice, but faith can live in art, in silk, in ceremony, in the careful way one presents themselves before the world. Rosella understands this. She understands that beauty is not weakness, adornment is not vanity, grace is not submission. A rose does not apologize for its fragrance, nor should any of you apologize for your brilliance. Rosella shall help shape the spirit of our festivals, our rituals, and our gatherings. Through her hands, Althea's respite shall become not merely a settlement, but a vision people speak of in distant taverns, with longing in their words. And Pascal, some see only the forge when they look upon him, the steel, the weapons, the armor. But those who truly know Pascal only understand something deeper. He is a crafter of bodies as much as blades. He understands strength, discipline, precision, the shaping of flesh and steel alike into something enduring. In his workshops, warriors will be armed, hunters equipped, travelers protected. Yet he does not create instruments of death for cruelty's sake. No. Pascal understands what many rulers forget. Weapons are most honorable when they preserve peace. And if you have ever watched him work beneath the glow of the forge, and she gives him a slight grin, you may understand why some of our people suddenly volunteer to assist far more often than necessary. These three stand beside me, not as servants, not as subjects, but as pillars of this new beginning. Together, we are building something rare upon Sipta. Not an empire, not a prison, not a machine of endless war. We are building a home, a place where music carries through the streets long after sunset, where the wine flows freely, where dancers move beneath lantern light, where merchants are welcomed, where festivals mark the changing seasons, where masked celebrations echo until dawn. She looks over her shoulder towards Copper. Where festivals mark the changing seasons, where masked celebrations echo until dawn. where the lonely may find companionship, where scars are not hidden in shame. We will host feasts, tournaments, markets, ceremonies beneath moonlit waters, and perhaps a few parties scandalous enough to even make a priest blush. You know, you can laugh at that last part. Yes, laugh. Life should contain laughter. Too many kingdoms forget this. Too many rulers demand obedience while offering nothing but exhaustion in return. I refuse such a future. I would rather our halls overflow with music than silence. I would rather hear flirtation in the gardens than screams in dungeons. I would rather our people dance barefoot beneath the stars than kneel beneath fear. This is the promise of Darketo's orchard. Freedom, not chaos, not cruelty. Freedom with responsibility. Freedom with community. Freedom with protection. You may worship as you choose, love as you choose, dress as you choose, create as you choose, as long as you do not seek to strip freedom from another. That is our law. Simple, sacred, unbreakable. And now I speak not only as your lady, but as Jocasta, a woman who has bled beside you, celebrated beside you, mourned beside you. I know what it is to lose. I know what it is to wonder. I know what it is to stand in darkness, wondering whether dawn will ever come again. Yet, here you stand before me, alive, laughing, beautiful. Gods, you are beautiful. The Isles of Sipta is dangerous. Twisted things crawl its shadows. Storms rise without warning. Ancient powers stir beneath its soil. But we have crossed harsher lands than this. We survived the exile lands themselves. And now we finally have the chance to become more than survivors. We may become legends. Not legends feared for cruelty, not remembered for wonder, but remembered for wonder. Let other kingdoms drown themselves in greed and conquest. Let tyrants choke upon their own chains. We shall plant gardens. We shall raise halls filled with song. We shall defend our people fiercely, and we shall love this life with every breath gifted to us. Jocasta would raise a goblet in her hand above her head. To Torqueto's orchard, to Althea's respite, to freedom, to pleasure, to family, and to every soul gathered here tonight, may you never again feel exiled.
Okay, talking's over. Time for party.
She Okay, Ocarina, I forgot your part. It was right here. It fell out of my notes. And to Ocarina, my sister from another mister.
It should be your sister from this mister.
Well, I know it's not from this mister, but
Well, no, like I am a mister and she's my sister.
oh, hang on. To the fashionista that has always been so colorful as a peacock, who
Okay.
is like the female version of Castell.
Okay.
Our crazy drugs, the great games of century eggs.
Hold on, hold on. I like this circle.
But Ocarina is the best sister ever, and we have completed this. Huzzah! We can now go back to Ayla's rest, or Altheia's
Come on,
rest with
game.
the party!
Okay, let's go.